The goldfish, in a quiet village nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests, there lived an old man named Elias. His cottage sat at the edge of a calm, glassy lake, where mist clung to the surface each morning like a veil. Elias was a retired fisherman, known by the villagers not for his catches, though they were once legendary, but for the stories he told. Stories that always began with the same line: "It all started with a goldfish." Most assumed it was just the ramblings of an old man, lonely and weathered by time. But Elias's story, as he told it, was not just a tale, it was a memory, sharp and shimmering like the scales of the very fish he spoke of. Part 1. The catch. Many years ago, when Elias was still strong and spry, he would rise with the sun, rowing out into the lake with nothing but a rod, a net, and a lunch packed by his late wife, Mara. One day, the lake was unusually still. Not a ripple stirred, even the birds were silent. It was as if the world had paused, waiting for something. Elias cast his net like he had done 1,000 times before. As it sank, a golden glint caught his eye beneath the surface. A second later, the net jerked with such force it nearly pulled him overboard. With great effort, he hauled it in, and there, thrashing and shimmering in the morning light, was a goldfish. But this was no ordinary fish. It was larger than any goldfish had a right to be. Its scales were like molten coins, eyes glinting with something far too knowing for a creature of water, and then it spoke. "Let me go," the fish said in a voice as clear as the lake itself, "and I shall grant you 3 wishes." Elias, stunned into silence, stared at the creature. It spoke again, "But be wise with what you ask, fisherman. Not all wishes lead where you think." Part 2. The first wish. Elias, like most, was skeptical, but the world was old and full of strange things, and a talking fish was no stranger than fate itself. He thought long and hard before making his first wish. "I wish," he said carefully, "for the health and strength of my youth, for myself, and for Mara." The goldfish flicked its tail, and in an instant Elias felt his back straighten. His joints no longer ached, and when he looked at his reflection in the water, he saw a man half his age. He raced back to the cottage, heart pounding, and there was Mara standing at the door, no longer frail and bent, but radiant and laughing. They embraced and wept with joy. For many months, they lived as they had in their younger days, dancing, laughing, and tending the cottage as if time had turned back. But time is a jealous thing. It does not like to be cheated. They turned back to being old and frail. Part 3. The second wish. As seasons passed, Elias began to notice the lake changing. The fish grew scarce. The water, once crystal clear, became murky. It was as if the goldfish's magic had unbalanced something deep below the surface. Fearing they had disrupted the natural order, Mara suggested they return the magic to undo the wish. But the goldfish had warned, "A wish made cannot be unmade." Then Mara fell ill. Not with age, but something deeper, more mysterious. No healer could cure it. Elias, in desperation, returned to the lake and summoned the goldfish again. "I wish," he cried, "to heal Mara forever." The goldfish appeared once more, its glow dimmer than before. "It is done," it said, and vanished beneath the waves. Mara's illness disappeared, and she smiled again, but she never changed, never aged. Time flowed around her like wind around a stone. While Elias aged, slowly, she remained the same. And that, too, took its toll. Part 4. The third wish. Years passed. Elias, once again old, watched as Mara remained untouched by time. Her eyes were sadder now. She no longer danced. He knew that her immortality was a cage, and he had built it. On a bitter winter's night, Elias went to the lake one last time. The water was black and still. He did not call the goldfish. It was already waiting for him. "You have one wish left," it said. "But know this, every wish has a price." Elias nodded. "I wish," he said, voice trembling. That Mara and I may live one final life together free of magic, free of sorrow, growing old the way we were meant to. The goldfish paused. Its golden glow pulsed gently, as if considering. Then it said, "So be it." There was a flash of light and silence. Part 5. The cottage by the lake in the village. There lives an old couple in a weathered cottage by the lake. They tend a small garden, feed birds, and sometimes take a boat out onto the water. The villagers don't know much about them. They only say that the man tells strange stories to the children about a talking goldfish, 3 wishes, and the cost of getting what you think you want. And sometimes, if you visit the lake just before dawn, you might see a ripple in the still water, a golden glint, like a coin tossed into the depths, waiting, just in case someone else is foolish or desperate enough to make a wish. The end.